Hey guys, today I want to talk about setting boundaries. Setting boundaries as an expat. Sometimes it's for expats, sometimes it's for Filipinos, sometimes it's for family. But anyway, I want to talk about this because it's such an important thing for a lot of expats over here, because a lot of expats don't set boundaries, and that's their downfall. Usually over here, when you're working with a girlfriend or a wife, and this goes in the United States too. This isn't just a Filipino thing or a Filipina thing or whatever. This works everywhere. Setting boundaries is an important fact of life. I used to work as a therapeutic mentor. I did it for 10 years. I worked part-time as a therapeutic mentor with children and families. And some of the biggest problems in families was setting boundaries. Usually the family leaders could not set boundaries with people. They couldn't set it with their children. So the children would walk all over them, and they'd just crap all over them, and that would be the end of that situation. And then they'd end up calling the place that I worked for. We'd send out a therapist, and then they'd send out a therapeutic mentor to work with the family to try to get the family working again. And usually I would have to try to implement the boundaries and things, and that's what would start happening. And usually it worked. Sometimes it didn't, because sometimes people are born to step over boundaries. Their personality just dictates, hey, I'm gonna be the boss. I'm gonna be the person who does what he wants to do. And you have to keep on setting those boundaries, clear boundaries all the time. And sometimes you're gonna get mad. It doesn't mean you cut that person off. You just gotta reset the boundaries. Keep setting the boundaries. Keep setting the boundaries. And until they finally get that you're not gonna give in on letting people go past those boundaries. And that works with Filipinas. It works with expats. It works with friends. It works with whoever, family members, could be anybody, but you have to set boundaries. And over here, I hear a lot of guys that come over here, they get in with this family, and usually, and you've heard the story 1,000 times about guys, the family wants money, the family wants all kinds of money, the family's asking for money, they're always hitting the guy up for money, and the guy's like, everybody's hitting me up for money, but they don't set clear boundaries. Well, if you set those boundaries and say, hey, listen, you talk to your girlfriend, you say, hey, listen, this is the situation. I only have this much money, and I don't want to give out money to your family because I don't make that much money. I don't mean to be rude or anything like that. I don't want to be a jerk, but I come over here to retire and live a good life, not to give out all my money as freebies to everybody out there, and that's what you have to do. You have to set those boundaries. Now, obviously, if you have enough money and you can handle giving out some money, that's fine. That's okay to give out money. And I give out money to my family. I give out money to people in my neighborhood. I help people out. Because I love all of them. They're all very close to me. But we sometimes you have to set those boundaries. Sometimes it's not about money. Sometimes it's about the way they treat you or something. Say, look, I'm not going to be treated like that, so please don't treat me like that. I do not want you to talk to me in this tone of voice or whatever. That's setting a boundary with somebody. A lot of people that come over here, I see them, they come over here. Some of the guys, they've worked till they're 60 or 65. They're burned out from their job. They're not lazy. I'll just say that they're burned out. Okay, they're burned out from working jobs, being stepped on, being crapped on at work, and they forget about setting boundaries because people have always set boundaries on them, and they're really bad boundaries. They're not good boundaries. You need good boundaries. A good fence is your best neighbor sometimes. It really is. And when you set a good boundary, it's good for both. It should be good for both of you. It should be something that makes both of you happy. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not going to make both people happy. In some cases, somebody that's really has a clear thing of what they want to do, and they want to push that on you, they're not going to let you set that boundary. And sometimes you just have to say, all right, then I want nothing to do with you. And sometimes that works with girlfriends and it works with friends. Sometimes you just say, this isn't going to work. Our friendship is not working because I told you 3 times, and I've set boundaries with you 3 times, and you clearly do not understand. If you cross those boundaries with me and you keep doing that, we cannot be friends. Now, as expats, this is one of the best tools we can possibly have in our toolbox is boundaries. In the Philippines, I find you need to set clear boundaries a lot. Okay, a lot with people. And some people you don't need to set boundaries with. I have a lot of friends. Most of the expats here, I never have to set boundaries with them. Some people I have had to set boundaries with. We had one guy, he clearly kept overstepping his boundaries the way he was treating me. And some boundaries are unwritten. You know, you just know you're not supposed to go past this here line and do this or this. Some things people will push on you, or they'll do something wrong to you. And you know what I'm talking about. If somebody was they were just doing something to you that they wouldn't do to a normal person, they clearly overstepped their boundaries. And some boundaries are unspoken and unwritten too. And those are people you don't want you don't want to get those people in your life. You don't want to be dealing with people like that. But set boundaries, guys. If you set those boundaries and you learn to make that a part of your daily life here in the Philippines, your retirement and your expat life will be 10 times better by setting those boundaries, because you won't have as many issues in your life. Are people going to overstep their boundaries with you? Yes, they're going to crap all over you. But sometimes if you set those boundaries and you make them clear, guess what? Then most of the time they work, but not all the time. So get that through your head. So you have to reset that boundary and then tell them again sometimes. Remind them. Say, look, we already talked about this, but don't let those boundaries keep getting overstepped. Be careful, guys. Okay? And remember, always use boundaries in relationships that are hard or difficult or whatever. God bless, guys. Take care.